Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjanam Yamunatira Vanachahari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjanam Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjanam Yamunatira Vanachahari Yamunatira Vanachahari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Shama Sundaradha Shama Sundarade. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Nitai Gauda Haribal, 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 Nitai Gauda Haribal. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Vishwapad Paramahamsa Jaya Sota Satta Shishmachila A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jaya Vishwapad Paramahamsa Jaya Sota Satta Shishmachila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Guri Vaishnavrinda ki. Sirup Sri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Jeev Gopal Bhatta Rasa Raghunath Sari Goswami Prabhu ki. प्रेम से गौसी कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवजरी गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपा गोपी गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुर धाम की मैपुर धाम की जगरपुरी धाम की तुलसी महारानी भक्ति देवी की गंगा यमुना देवी की हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की श्री श्री गौनिताय की श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम के श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर के गो प्रेमानंदे हरे हरे बोल समवेत भक्त वृंद के all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, 15th chapter, the Yoga of the Supreme Person, text number 11. yatanto yoginaś cainaṁ paśyanti ātmani avasthitam yatantopi akṛtātmāno nainaṁ paśyanti acetasaḥ yatanto yoginaś cainaṁ paśyanti ātmani avasthitam yatantopi akṛtātmāno nainaṁ paśyanti acetasaḥ yatanto yoginaś cainaṁ paśyanti ātmani avasthitam yatantopi akṛtātmāno nainaṁ paśyanti acetasaḥ yatanto yoginaś cainaṁ paśyanti ātmani avasthitam yatantopi akṛtātmāno nainaṁ paśyanti acetasaḥ. Matajis? Yatanto yoginaś cainaṁ paśyanti ātmani avasthitam yatantopi akṛtātmāno nainaṁ paśyanti acetasaḥ yatantaḥ endeavoring yoginaḥ transcendentalists cha also enam this paśyanti can see ātmani in the self avasthitam situated yatantaḥ endeavoring api although akṛta-ātmānaḥ those without self-realization na do not enam this paśyanti see acetasaḥ having undeveloped minds. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Aisya Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly, but those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try to. Purport. The many transcendentalists on the path of spiritual self-realization, but one who is not situated in self-realization cannot see how things are changing in the body of the living entity. The word yoginaś is significant in this connection. In the present day, there are many so-called yogis, there are many so-called associations of yogis, but they are actually blind in the matter of self-realization. They are simply addicted to some sort of gymnastic exercise and are situated and are satisfied if the body is well built and healthy. They have no other information. They are called yatanto akṛta-ātmānaḥ. Even though they are endeavoring in a so-called yoga system, they are not self-realized. Such people cannot understand the process of the transmigration of the soul. Only those who are actually in the yoga system and have realized the self, the world and the Supreme Lord, in other words, the bhakti-yogīs, those engaged in pure devotional service in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, can understand how things are taking place. Om ajnanatimidandasya jnananjana-salakaya chakasodhanmilitam yenam tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya-manobhistam sthapitam yena bhutale sanyam rupa-kadamayam dadati svapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta-pada-kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Kṛṣṇa Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakandvitamscha. He Kṛṣṇa Karuna Sindhu Dīna Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshare Vrishabhano Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha paridanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yatanto yoginaś cainaṁ paśyanti ātmani avasthitam yatanto akṛtātmāno nainaṁ paśyanti acetasaḥ. The endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try to. So Kṛṣṇa in this chapter, he is speaking to Arjuna, and so he has explained in text number 7, Mamavam Sajivaloke Jivubhuta Sanatana Manasastrindrani Prakriti Stanikarshati. That the living entities in this world, they are my eternal fragmental parts. But because of conditioned life, so they are struggling with the mind and the senses. So that is the situation of the conditioned soul in the material world. Everyone is struggling. But by nature, everyone is a servant of Kṛṣṇa, and everyone is meant to serve Kṛṣṇa. And by nature, everyone is blissful. Anandamaya Vyasat. Jivara Swapo Krishnera Nityadas. So that is the constitutional position of the living entity, that is a servant of Kṛṣṇa. And just like Krishna's position, Satchidananda Vigraha, is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, similarly living entities, being part and parcel of Kṛṣṇa, they're also eternal and full of knowledge and bliss. But Kṛṣṇa is unlimited, is the Supreme Lord. Whereas the individual beings, so they have the same nature as Kṛṣṇa, but only in minute quantity. So they are also, that is explained in the same chapter, towards the end of this 15th chapter, that there are two kinds of living entities. So those who are fallible and those who are infallible. Achut and chut, kshara akshara. So those who are infallible, first of all the Supreme Lord, so his name is Achyut Kṛṣṇa. He's never falling from his transcendental position. And then similarly, the servants of Kṛṣṇa, the eternal associates of Kṛṣṇa, they're also infallible. They're always engaged in the service of Kṛṣṇa, and there's no chance of them falling from that position. The second category of living entities, that refers to the part and parcels of Kṛṣṇa who have fallen. Although by nature, they're also eternal servants of Kṛṣṇa. But are conditioned since time immemorial, nityabada. And when they are in the material world, when the material world is manifested, and then coming in contact of the material world in the modes of material nature, so they will acquire a certain body and they are engaged in certain activities, but forgetful of Kṛṣṇa. And therefore they are struggling. Sometimes going to the higher planets, sometimes on the earthly planets, and sometimes going to the lower planets. But if one is fortunate, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Beach. After wandering in this material world, since long time, the fortunate soul, he comes in contact with Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa's devotees. And then his good fortune, his spiritual life can start. So the devotees, the endeavoring transcendentalists, those who engage in devotional service, they can understand about this material world. They can understand about the modes of material nature. And they know how to become free from the modes of material nature and how to advance in spiritual life and how to become perfect. So they're endeavoring. And by Kṛṣṇa's mercy, eventually they will become successful. So also, as it is explained in Bhagavad Gita, there are many kinds of yogis. So karma yogis, jnana yogis, ashtanga yogis, and bhakti-yogīs. And Kṛṣṇa is explained in 6 chapters. Yoginam avisarvesham mad akṛta-ātmānaḥ sarvam bhajate mam yukta-tamamataḥ. And of all yogis, he who is always engaged in devotional service, he is the highest of all. And devotees, they can understand very clearly everything. Whereas others, there may be others who are doing some work in this world, but they understand the Supreme Lord, and therefore they're giving up some fruit of their activities to the Lord, karma yogis. So they have some realization, some understanding. But unless and until one is fully surrendered to Kṛṣṇa, one cannot fully understand Kṛṣṇa as he is, and one cannot become liberated. Even the jnana yogis, those who are cultivating knowledge, but who are not engaged in devotional service, they can also not know Kṛṣṇa. Like the Mayavadis, they say the absolute truth has no form. They're just in the beginning stage also of devotional, of spiritual life. Even actually, although they are maybe more intelligent than those who are doing karma yoga, but they are not superior because they are not engaged in devotional service. That should be understood. The knowledge is taken away by illusion. They are not properly situated. But at least they understand that in this material world, being situated here, we should not engage in sense gratification, but we should try to engage in spiritual activities. But ultimately, if they are not coming to Kṛṣṇa consciousness, if they are not engaged in devotional service, then they will not achieve ultimate success. They may even go to the spiritual world and merge in the impersonal Brahman, in the Brahma Jyoti, which is Kṛṣṇa's effulgence. They may merge in Kṛṣṇa's body. But that is not the ultimate situation. And again, ultimately they will have to come to this material world. And they will get another chance. And those who are doing Ashtanga Yoga, the meditating on the Super Soul Paramatma, but there is no direct relationship ultimately with Paramatma. Paramatma is simply there to help us, to guide us in this world. But Paramatma is a manifestation of Mahashankarshan. Mahashankarshan is an expansion of Mool Shankarshan Balaram. And when the material world is manifested, Mahashankarshan is expanded as Mahavishnu, Karnadaksha Vishnu, who is entering the material realm, and from him unlimited universes are emanating. And in each universe, Garbhadaksha Vishnu is situated. And the unlimited universes, so the unlimited Garbhadaksha Vishnu. And the third manifestation is Kshirodaksha Vishnu, Paramatma, situated in everyone's heart. But they are only present when the material world is manifested. When the material world is annihilated, then Kshirodaksha Vishnu, Garbhadaksha Vishnu, Mahavishnu enter again into Mahavishnu. And again, when the material world is manifested, then again they will manifest. So we are not having a relationship, permanent relationship with Vishnu. The relationship with Kṛṣṇa or with Vishnu in the spiritual realm, in Vaikuntha. So, what to speak of the materialistic people in this material world, even big scientists, but if they are not connected to the Supreme Lord, and if they are not engaged in devotional service, they have no understanding of this material world. And as mentioned here by Kṛṣṇa, so those who are not developed in consciousness, who are not in self-realization, who are not even understanding that we are not this body, that we are spirit soul, so they will not know really what's going on in this world. They are simply speculation. Though they may try to understand, but they cannot understand. And they may try for a long time, and they may even have many conclusions. But because it is not coming from the scriptures, not coming from the self-realized souls, not coming from the Lord, so whatever conclusions they are having, that will have some flaw. It is not perfect. But a perfect understanding, that is coming from the Supreme Lord. Because Kṛṣṇa is the source of everything, of all the material and spiritual world. He is the source of all incarnation, he is the source of all knowledge. The Vedic literatures, Veda, is a manifestation of Kṛṣṇa. Śrīmad Bhagavatam, the essence of the Vedic literatures, is not different from Kṛṣṇa. So we have to get knowledge from the Vedic literatures, or from the Supreme Lord Himself, like Kṛṣṇa received from, Arjuna received from Kṛṣṇa. That is perfect knowledge. And then also the knowledge is received in disciplic succession. Kṛṣṇa spoke also to Brahma, who spoke to the Kumaras, the 4 Kumaras, to Narada Muni. And in this way the knowledge is received. And only that knowledge which is coming in parampara, in disciplic succession, that is perfect. So it is descending from the transcendental realm. The ascending process will not bring us to the conclusion by trying to figure out this material world with our material intelligence, our material consciousness. We cannot understand that which is beyond this material world. We cannot understand the spiritual world. We cannot understand spiritual consciousness, the Supreme Being, Kṛṣṇa, or Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's associates. So the only way is by taking shelter of Kṛṣṇa, by taking shelter of the process of devotional service, by taking shelter of the devotees, by taking shelter of the Vedic literatures, and by worshipping the Lord, the Yacha Vigraha, the deity form of the Lord. So that is a process by which one can advance in spiritual life, by which we can become perfect. And especially in the age of Kali, it is mentioned throughout the Vedic literatures, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam kaulam nastyeva 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 gatyaranyata. There's only one way to get perfection in the age of Kali, and that is through the chanting of the holy names, the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it is mentioned 3 times, Hare Nama. That is to emphasize, there is no other way. There is no other way, there is no other way. Hare Nama, only by chanting the holy names we can get the perfection. So we chant the holy names, but also there is a proper way of chanting the holy names. We should chant the holy names without offenses. We should chant the holy names with a proper consciousness. We should have a proper understanding about the absolute truth, about Kṛṣṇa. And then we'll be able to chant nicely. And then our consciousness becomes purified. Then we can understand more and more. So the most important limb of devotional service is chanting the holy names. That is mentioned in the Vedic literatures also. And all the acharyas have explained. Iti sudashakam nainaṁ kali kalmasanāsanam sarva vedishu drishyati. So it is mentioned in all the Vedic literatures that the 16 names which are there in Maha Mantra, of course 16 words are there, but 3 names, Hare, Kṛṣṇa and Ram. But there are 16 words in the Maha Mantra. Kali kalmasanāsanam. So they are not different from Kṛṣṇa. And so they can destroy the kalmash, the impurities in the heart. Nama chintamani Kṛṣṇa chaitanya rasa vigraha purnasvaruni muktabhinatvam nama namanaḥ. Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa nam. Krishna's name is not different from Kṛṣṇa. When we say Kṛṣṇa, then Kṛṣṇa will be present when one is chanting purely. And when Kṛṣṇa is present, we can see. So we can see his form, nam, roop, and then gun, his qualities, and ultimately lila, his pastimes, we can see when we are chanting properly. Chaitanya rasa, Chaitanya vigraha. It is conscious. Kṛṣṇa nam is conscience. Kṛṣṇa roop, nam roop. None different from Kṛṣṇa, conscious. Full of transcendental mellow, rasa vigraha, akila rasamrita murti. Embodiment of all transcendental mellows. Purna, Shuddha, Nitya Mukta. So Kṛṣṇa Nam is complete and perfect and pure, ever liberated, not connected to this material world. So by chanting the holy names, we become purified more and more. But in the beginning stage, we have to hear also about the holy names, the glories of the holy names. We have to understand about Kṛṣṇa and Kṛṣṇa's wonderful pastimes. So when we hear sufficiently, and also seva bhav, seva vritti should be there. We should be in the mood of serving Kṛṣṇa, serving the holy names, chanting in the mood of, I want to serve you, Kṛṣṇa. Or praying to Radharani, Srimati Radharani, please engage me in the service of Kṛṣṇa. So Prabhupada used to say, when we chant the holy names, you should cry to Srimati Radharani, hey Srimati Radharani, please engage me in the service of Kṛṣṇa. Of course, even before that, we have to pray to Mahaprabhu. Nama Mahavadanyaya Kṛṣṇa Prema Paradayate. Kṛṣṇaya Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Namane Gauratvisena Namaha. Mahaprabhu is not different from Kṛṣṇa. He's not different from Radha Kṛṣṇa. And Mahaprabhu came as a devotee to show us how to engage in devotional service. In which mood to chant the holy name. So we have to pray to Mahaprabhu. And even ultimately before that, we have to pray to the spiritual master who is the representative of Kṛṣṇa, the representative of Mahaprabhu. We pray and cry out to the spiritual master, and then by his mercy we can understand everything. By his mercy then we can chant the holy names, and then we can approach Mahaprabhu, then we can approach Kṛṣṇa. And then ultimately we will be able to chant Shuddhanam, the pure name, with pure consciousness, above the modes of material nature. So we have to endeavor constantly, as mentioned here, the endeavoring transcendentalists. Yatantaḥ. Yatanta means to endeavor, so we have to endeavor constantly. So then when we are situated properly, ātmani, in the self, ātmani in the self. We are not this body. We are spirit soul, Atma, beyond the material body. So when we are situated on the platform of the soul, Atma Tattva, then we can see things as they are, then we can see things clearly. So we have to give up the Atma Buddhi. We have to give up the material intelligence, material consciousness, identifying with this material body. So we have to be situated in the self, ātmani. And then when we endeavor, we can remain situated transcendentally. So, but as explained by Kṛṣṇa, so even the endeavoring transcendentalists, the devotee, even they are struggling, there's a struggle to be properly situated always. So, but we have to constantly endeavor and we have to struggle and we have to pray to Guru Gauranga Kṛṣṇa to help us. We have to take the help of the Vaishnavas together. We have to try to be engaged in devotional service. Then we can advance slowly but surely. And then the more we are advancing, the more we can understand everything very clearly. But if one is not advancing, if one is not endeavoring enough, then things are not clear. If one is not transcendentally situated, then even though one may try to understand, it is not possible to understand everything, to understand Kṛṣṇa completely. Especially in the conditioned state. Even the pure devotee, they cannot understand Kṛṣṇa completely, because Kṛṣṇa is unlimited. But because they have love for Kṛṣṇa, whatever is needed for them in order to execute devotional service, in order to preach, in order to help others, then Kṛṣṇa will give it intelligence. Sarvasya cha amridi sanivisto matta smirti jnanamapahanam cha. So Kṛṣṇa is saying to Arjuna in the same 15th chapter, in a few verses, it will come. I'm situated in everyone's heart, and from me comes knowledge, remembrance and forgetfulness. So we get knowledge, but then how we can remember that, what we receive, the knowledge? We may read so many books, we hear so much, but then how we can remember? By Kṛṣṇa's mercy we can remember. So sometimes you may be learning verses, and of course by practice then you can remember. But still, Ultimately, but only by Krishna's mercy we can remember. Sometimes also we try to recite some verses, but then we forget, we make some mistake. It's even forgetfulness that comes from Kṛṣṇa. So, but we have to endeavor to be nicely situated on the transcendental place, transcendental platform, and then we have to endeavor to advance more and more. And then Kṛṣṇa will help. Tesham satadi yuktanam bhajadam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam te enam paśyanti. In the 10th chapter, 10th verse, Kṛṣṇa is saying to those who are constantly devoted to me, bhajatam priti purvakam, bhajatam, priti purvakam, with love. So if we are engaged in devotional service, then the consciousness becomes purified, then the loving sentiments will come. And then Kṛṣṇa is saying, so those who are worshipping me, those who are engaged in devotional service, priti purvakam, with love, dadami buddhi yogam te, to them I give buddhi, intelligence, by which they can come to me. So Kṛṣṇa will supply everything. As also in the 9th chapter, ananya shintantamam yajanapaya pasate tesham nityavyuktanam yogakshemam vyaham. Whatever qualities we have, that will remain with us. And whatever is lacking, Kṛṣṇa will give if you are engaged in devotional service. So, but we simply have to try to be situated on the spiritual platform, and we have to constantly endeavor. Sambandha Gyan. So we should have this knowledge that we are the servants of Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Lord, is residing in the spiritual world. But now we are conditioned. But by good fortune we know that we are the servants of Kṛṣṇa, and we have to try to be engaged in devotional service so we can become free from illusion. And then we can go to Kṛṣṇa. So that is Sambandha Gyan. But then we have to learn also how to advance more and more. The process of devotional service, abhideya. So constant learning has to be there. So much to learn to advance more and more. And then eventually then we come to the stage of love of Godhead, of pure love towards Kṛṣṇa. So that is our goal, to develop love for Kṛṣṇa. To be always transcendentally situated, free from the modes of material nature. So constant endeavor has to be there. With enthusiasm, we have to be enthusiastic. Nishtha, we have to be fixed, understanding what is the goal, and we have to try our best to be properly situated always. And we have to be patient. And then ultimately in good association we will attain perfection. In due course of time, that is guaranteed by Kṛṣṇa's mercy. And Kṛṣṇa is saying to Arjuna, if you engage in devotional service, ultimately you will come to me. Kṛṣṇa is reciprocating, we're endeavoring a little bit, Kṛṣṇa is helping so much. So we should try our best to make more and more advancement. Hare Krishna. Any question? Okay, we stop here. We have some Mahaprasad from Kṛṣṇa Janmashtami. Srila Prabhupada ki.